This much I know, the playoff committee has absolutely no idea what they're doing, and this just in, they will forever not know what they're doing. We break it down and tell you why it's so ridiculous next. Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. He is Clint. I am Daniel. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. Thanks so much to the everydayers who are here making this podcast go. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Make every moment more. More on them in a moment. We're talking about the college football playoff because it's that time of year, all right? We are famous on this podcast, Clint, for saying that rankings do not matter. But we're getting down to the time when rankings are starting to matter. There's
one particular category of rankings and one particular time. It's the college football playoff rankings, and it's end of November. Well,
and it's now.
It's now. So
yeah.
We're here. We're going to be breaking down. We're going to give you the rankings, our reaction to them. We're going to give you top to bottom where Georgia stands. How does it affect us? And then we're going to give you a little prediction model. We're going to grab some robes. We're going to stare into a candle. We're going to make our predictive robes. That's a call out to all the, not only everydayers and first listeners, but longtime listeners that stay to the loyal third segment listeners. That's a throwback for you all. Okay, Daniel. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go top to bottom. We're going to go 1 through 12. And we're going to talk about some auxiliary teams outside of that. And we're going to talk about what this playoff committee, we're starting to get more observational data on this playoff committee.
Sure. We're learning things from behavior.
I'm learning a great deal. Look, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Okay. The committee is telling us who they are. I beg you, believe them, because it's not great who they are, if I may, just for a hot minute. The fact that all their pictures aren't plastered up at the top of this should be on their name and photo should be at the top of every single time you talk about playoff rankings. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break it down. We're going to go 1 through 12, talk about some auxiliary teams. How does it affect Georgia? Let's start with the top 4, Daniel. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas at 3, Penn State 4th in the rankings. Now, obviously, this is not seeding because we have the conference champions. They're going to do that. Oregon, Ohio State will not be 1 and 2 when the seeding comes out. Right there, Penn State won't because of conference championship and how that plays out. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. Kind of that's probably the ramifications of where Georgia is on it. But Daniel, let's just go top 4 rankings. Did the committee get the top 4 right? Are these the 4 best teams in college football?
No.
Nope. We are already swinging and missing.
I mean, are we basing best team in college football on ever beating anyone of substance at any point, at any time during the season? Because if so, I see a team on there that does not belong. I spy with my little eye a team that has not even sniffed a top 25 win this season, that has lost to literally the only top 25 team that it has played, and done so at home, at night, by double their score. Texas is not one of the 4 best teams in the country. Now, they might end up being one of the 4 best teams in the country, but they have done nothing to prove that they are. And shouldn't these rankings be based off of what teams have done? I know that sometimes we want to get deep into this. This is going to get more philosophical on you, Clint, and you can feel free to disagree. I know it's we love to get into this. Well, you just look at the talent and look at the eye test and look at we like to get into all these things. And I get that. Not all resumes are created equal.
They're not.
But your resume should mean something, shouldn't it? If you went out and lost to Kentucky at home, surely that should mean if you haven't beaten a ranked team all year, and you have a loss. Surely that should mean something. I know it's a quality loss to Georgia for Texas, and here's why I think this is important, Clint, because we'll just focus on the top 4 right now, because this is a Georgia podcast. We don't care about these rankings in any way other than how it affects Georgia.
Correct.
Georgia right now sitting at what, 10 in these rankings? Okay.
Correct.
You have to be in the top 8 in order to hope. Right? This is all Georgia should be thinking about right now. Can they host a playoff game? And stay tuned to the third segment. I'll tell you something else Georgia should be thinking about. But for right now, can they host a playoff game? Georgia's going to have to move up 2 spots in order to be able to host a playoff game, right? And they got to get to 8. If Texas were to lose to Texas A&M, that's a mighty long way they would have to fall to go behind Georgia. I don't see it happening. This committee right now has backed themselves into a corner where now a 10-2 Texas that has no quality wins whatsoever,
0,
is going to be ranked ahead of a team with the same record, with better wins, who beat them at home. There's no way you could tell me a Texas team is going to fall from 3 to 9 and Georgia's going to magically vault up to 8.
Nope.
I think if Texas loses to A&M, by the way, Clint, they should be out of the playoff.
They should be out of the playoff.
There is no place for a team that has 0 ranked wins in this playoff. None.
Yes. Yes. So, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt.
But there's no way. The committee is telling you what they're going to do. Texas at 3 right now is insane.
Texas is not the 3rd best team. Texas is not the 5th best team. They're not the 6th best team, the 8th best team, the 10th best team. I have Texas. Texas better hope that they don't lose to A&M, and they better hope to win the SEC championship game, because if not, they're not getting past the first round.
They have to do something they haven't done all year, which is beat a quality team.
There it is. Texas
Their best win is at Arkansas. Their second best win is at Michigan.
How are those 2 teams? Arkansas, which they barely beat. That game was down to a final drive for Arkansas and an incomplete pass away from getting down into the red zone and having a chance to score. That was ridiculous. And then Michigan, who has they have people retiring from football. They have players retiring from playing the game on the squad.
Oh, sure.
They have a coach.
They would rather quit football than continue playing for Michigan.
The committee has told you this. We don't care about strength of schedule 1 itty bitty bit. They don't care about quality wins. They don't care about quality losses. All they care about, these are the 2 things the committee has said from the top 4 already, because Penn State's in there too. Penn State got suffocated by Ohio State. Suffocated by Ohio State. The difference between 2 and 4 on this list is not one team in between them. The difference between Ohio State and Penn State is 10 teams. Okay?
Yeah.
So what the committee has told you is we don't care about strength of schedule. We do not care about quality wins. We do not care about quality losses. We care about eyeball test and losses. That's it. So if you look pretty, Texas, with all that misdirection and Quinn Ewers and high-flying offense,
and you
have 1 loss,
cool. Brings a lot of money with it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
that is all they care about. The committee has
this is big for Georgia. Texas being at 3 is big for Georgia, because I do think there's a decent chance they lose to A&M.
I do too.
And Georgia's not going to pass them.
Nope.
Which means Georgia's not going to be hosting a playoff game. I don't see a path for Georgia to host a playoff game.
We're going to talk about that next, because we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen. Chalk, games played out, SEC championship, all that, and
I got another one for you too. I got a whopper at the end.
But first, these. These are, in fact, Mint Mobile. I'll have a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl over the bed of hot coals to save a few bucks. It has to be easy, no hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless, $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out, really is that easy. $15 a month. The longest part of the process was actually spending the time on hold, breaking up with my old carrier. To get started, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. There you'll see right now, all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text. Nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. Bring your phone number along. Find out how easy it is to switch at Mint Mobile and get 3 months off premium wireless services for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer, you and your 3-month premium wireless plan for $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. That's mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. $45 upfront payment is required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on the first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 48 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. All right, Daniel, we talked about Texas being ludicrous at number 3, Penn State being ludicrous at 4. Let's go 5, 6, 7, 8. We have Indiana Hoosiers, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Alabama comes in at 7, Miami at 8. Did the committee get these next 4 teams correct, Daniel?
Are you serious? You're seriously asking me?
Well, I think we have to. No?
No, they did not. No. No, they didn't get these teams correct.
Notre Dame is nowhere, should be nowhere closer to 1 than teams like Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, SMU, and no, I'm not trying to be a troll and I'm not being facetious. That's for real. Colorado. I would rather see Colorado closer to 6 than Notre Dame. Notre Dame has played nobody. They lost to Northern Illinois. They haven't been impressive. They've squeaked out games in the fourth quarter. They've extended leads in the fourth quarter against very subpar teams the entire time. They don't have an identity on offense nor on defense. Stop me if you've heard that any other year for Notre Dame. Oh, wait, every year. Okay.
America is united in cheering for Army against Notre Dame. That's the crappy thing is Notre Dame's schedule is so bad that the second best team that they will play all year long is Army. That's the second best team Notre Dame will play all season long. They lost to the 7th best team in the MAC. I wish I were making this up.
You're not.
Okay. Notre Dame is absolutely atrocious.
Okay.
But if they don't lose to Army, they're not going anywhere, which means Georgia's not moving up in this playoff bracket.
This is what's all important, everybody. We're trying to set you up because the dominoes fall for Georgia.
Yeah. BYU losing was nice for Georgia.
Very nice.
Because that cleared them out of the conversation. There is now the Big 12 is a 1-bid league. It is Colorado. It is BYU in a 1-game season. The winner will be in the playoff as the 4 seed. The loser will not be in the playoff.
Well, Daniel, not as of right now. Not as if chalk continues. If things play out the way that they do, no, they won't. The Big 12 will not. I mean, BYU might sneak back into 12, but Boise State will be a conference champion with a higher ranking.
That is true. The Big 12 winner will be the 12 seed.
The 12 seed
in this playoff.
Yeah.
That is true. I think whoever wins the Big 12 title game is going to be ranked higher than Boise. I think that will jump them over. Boise's going to beat UNLV in the title game, if they even win it. But you're right. You're right. That would be a wild time. Boise getting the bye.
Boise would get the bye because at that point what we're looking at, and again, Indiana's going to drop because they're going to lose to Ohio State. That's going to happen.
But they're not falling out of the playoff, and they're not dropping behind Georgia, friends.
There you go. Again, Notre Dame is going to continue going up. They get past Army. Now, if they lose to Army, okay, now we're talking about a real chance that they could go down. But Army is ranked 19th in these rankings, and so Notre Dame might just drop down to 9, to 8, to 9, something like that, still ahead of Georgia.
If Notre Dame loses, they are out of the playoff. There's no chance that a 2-loss Notre Dame is making the playoff. 0.
I don't know that, Daniel.
0.
I don't know that
I
definitively.
100% know that.
Okay. So we're all rooting for Army. Miami is not winning the ACC. Let me tell you, they are not winning the ACC.
Okay. Let me tell you something. This is the nightmare scenario for Georgia.
Give it to them.
If Miami loses, which, by the way, Miami lost to Georgia freaking Tech.
There it is.
And is still ranked 8th in this bracket.
Let that sink in.
I mean, unbelievable. Who have they beaten? Who has Miami beaten this year? Louisville just lost to Stanford. Are we aware of that?
I am very aware of that.
Okay. What if Miami loses in the ACC championship game?
Okay. They probably
did somebody. I mean, to SMU, right? So SMU now is the 3 seed,
the 3 seed
or whatever. Did somebody, 2 idiots I heard recently recording a podcast?
Yeah.
Got on this show and they said the words, surely the committee is not going to punish a team
for losing
in a conference championship game scenario. Surely they wouldn't do that. Losing on a neutral field to another ranked team in a conference championship game scenario, I am telling you, 11-2 Miami as a non-conference champion.
Bye-bye.
They've got a shot of making this playoff, Clint, and that is the nightmare scenario if you are a Georgia fan. That is the scenario where how does this committee value Vanderbilt?
That's
Tennessee might have a chance to jump back over Georgia.
That's right.
How does this committee value Texas A&M beating Texas? Texas A&M might jump up over Georgia. And in the scenario I'm describing where Miami loses the ACC title game and is still in the playoff. Guys, Georgia's in the 11th spot. Meaning if any team, Texas A&M, Tennessee, if any of these teams jump up, all of a sudden Georgia's the team that's on the outside looking in. Like, Georgia's probably, if they win their games, probably safely in this playoff field.
Yeah.
But Miami is the team. I cannot believe how highly they are ranked.
It's ridiculous.
Miami's the team that makes that questionable only because by our own logic yesterday, we said there's no way you could punish a team for playing an extra game and losing it. Well, so that means if Miami's ranked ahead of Georgia going into the ACC title game, which they will be.
They will.
Then how could you drop them? And now you have to put SMU in if they win.
SMU has to. Yes. So,
but you can't drop Miami.
Let's finish up real quick because all of these, we're going to give you our best case prediction of what's going to happen in the playoff for the next couple weeks.
Nightmare scenario.
It's a nightmare scenario. This was an absolute horrible ranking system. Nobody knows what they're doing. 9 Ole Miss, 10 Georgia, 11 Tennessee, 12 Boise State. Rounds up the rankings, not the seedings, the rankings. The seeding is yet to come because you got the SEC championship, you got all the championship games, everything like that. We're going to come back after these and let you know what it means for Georgia specifically, the best case scenario for us, and the most realistic scenario that we're going to give you so you can mentally prepare yourself to not have a home playoff game in Athens.
Not happening.
But first, these. And these are, in fact, skylight frames. Daniel, right now, I don't know if you understand what time of year it is, but it's the time of year in which holiday season, you might be missing somebody. You want to be part of the festivities for everybody from afar. Do you have loved ones that live far away but wish they could be close to you? We've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frames is a touchscreen digital photo frame for the whole family that they will love. Upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. It's easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. Seamless sharing. Invite friends and family to easily share photos via the free Skylight mobile app or email. No account or subscription is required. Add new photos straight from your phone from anywhere. It only takes a tap on your phone to send new photos to a frame across the country. It's the fastest, easiest way to keep loved ones in the loop. They'll feel so much more connected to you. Right now, as a special limited time offer for all listeners, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/college. At skylightframe.com/college, get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframes.college. But that's not all. Daniel will also let you know about FanDuel. Tomorrow night, Daniel will be talking about locks, a lock for maybe the Georgia game. It's not going to be the
I'm locking something up in this Georgia game. I'm locking something up.
We're going to have locks, and every single time we do, it comes from FanDuel. FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs, Locked On Podcast, everywhere. Right now, head over there. You win $5. You make a $5 bet, and you win. You get $150 in bonus bets straight to your account. They are fast. They are great. They are convenient. It is safe. Everything we love about sports booking, FanDuel takes care of it. And they're the number one sports book in America. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Nightmare scenario for Georgia. We gave you the rankings. We talked about the ludicrous teams. The fraudulent teams are, in fact, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame. Indiana's better than those squads I just listed. I trust their coach more than anybody else. Miami is a fraudulent team. Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, great teams. Love them a great deal. Boise State, SMU, BYU round up the 14. A couple other notable teams within that. South Carolina might be one of the best teams in America. They're at 18th. And no, I'm not trolling with that either. It just depends on what day you get which South Carolina. If it's a good day, you get South Carolina, the good version. Oh man, they're fun. Bad day, it's real bad. Army at 19, perfect record. A couple other teams down the list: Tulane, Arizona State, Iowa State. Daniel, let's talk through scenarios here.
Okay. By the way, Tulane is better than Boise. They won't make the playoff if Boise doesn't lose. But Tulane would beat Boise by 20 points on a neutral.
Tulane's a good squad. Yeah. Okay. Let's make some predictive things of key games coming up. Do you see? Let's just quickly go through the top teams. Do you see Oregon losing another game this year?
I think Ohio State's going to beat Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. Yeah.
Okay. In the championship, great. Do
you mean in the regular season?
In the regular season?
No. Yeah, I do not.
Okay. Ohio State, Texas? You said A&M is going to beat Texas.
The running back for A&M is hurt, and that hurts. I think A&M is losing, by the way, this weekend to Auburn. I've been saying that all year. Tune in tomorrow for locks. Auburn is beating Texas A&M.
Auburn getting points in that game.
And then Texas A&M is going to turn around and beat Texas. Yes.
Mike Elko says, we are firmly focused on Texas. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Auburn. They beat Texas. Their entire season is worth it. They're beating Texas. Indiana is going to lose to Ohio State. Ohio State is not losing this weekend. Notre Dame may lose to Army. There's an actual shot of that. You want to go ahead and call that shot? Is Notre Dame going to lose to Army?
No, Notre Dame's going to beat Army by 30 points, and they are going to move up in the college football playoff rankings.
Mississippi may mess around. This is where things get wild. Ole Miss may mess around and lose to Florida this weekend. And no, I'm not trying to be funny. Okay.
Yeah.
DJ Lagway, Billy Napier, feeling all sorts of themselves. They have a running game.
That would be huge for Georgia, by the way. Huge for Georgia if that were to happen.
Now, let's make some predictive analysis. Who wins the SEC, Daniel? Who's in it? First of all, it's very important because there might be a 3-loss team from the SEC. Who's in the SEC championship?
I legitimately have no idea who's going to make it to the SEC championship game.
Okay.
I think Texas is going to lose again. I think Texas A&M is going to lose again to Auburn this weekend. So I think both of those teams are going to take a loss. So I think Texas A&M's out of it for sure. So in that scenario, would it be Alabama and Georgia? Would it be Alabama and Texas still in the SEC championship game? I don't know what the scenario is. Alabama's probably going to win the SEC.
Yes, I would. My money is on Alabama to win the SEC championship. So they're in likely at let's call it. So Oregon, Ohio State's going to be the number 1 seed. They're going to be the number 2 seed. Daniel.
Yeah.
Alabama's going to be
whoever wins the SEC is going to be the number 2 seed.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. The ACC winner is going to be the 3 seed, and then the 4 seed is going to be the Big 12 or Boise State getting in there. Okay. Daniel.
Yeah.
If that's the case, what path do you see forward? If Alabama's going to get there, does that mean the SEC has Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Texas all making the college football playoff? All 4 of those teams making the college football playoff?
I mean, I think right now, the committee is telling you that Tennessee is going to be the team left out.
Correct.
I still firmly maintain that Ole Miss should be the team left out. If one of those teams is left out, it should be Ole Miss. Tennessee's has a win over Alabama. That's just as good as Ole Miss's win over Georgia.
100%.
And Ole Miss lost to Kentucky and LSU, neither of which are good teams.
Horrible
Tennessee's
team.
only 2 losses this year are to really good football teams. Arkansas is not a really good football team, but it's better than Kentucky.
I'll tell you that much. I do
Georgia's
know that.
Georgia's a heck of a lot better than LSU.
Yes, sir.
It is a shame to me that
Tennessee would be the first out.
Tennessee would be the first out, legitimately. I mean, it's not a shame in terms of what it would mean for Vol Twitter, because it would be fantastic for Vol Twitter. I would love it. But yeah, I think Georgia's going to be sitting down there like at 11 or 10. I think Georgia's going to squeak into this playoff, guys.
Georgia is squeaking into this playoff.
Let me just say this. If you're 11, that means in the first round,
say more.
You're going to go to 6. Okay? I'm just saying, there's no chance in the world that the loser of the Ohio State-Oregon game doesn't end up at 5. That team has to be 5. The loser of the Ohio State-Oregon game.
That's the maximum drop. There is nothing further than that.
Which means there's a real shot Notre Dame could be sitting there at 6. We could be looking at a trip to South Bend.
Come on.
To play Notre Dame in the first round.
Come on.
And then, as the 6th seed, you get the 3 seed.
And that's going to be...
That's SMU or Miami.
That's ACC. Neutral site.
I'm just saying.
Against 2 fraudulent teams.
11 is not the worst place in the world to be.
It's not. Georgia, we are going to squeak into the playoff. I don't think we're going to get a home playoff game. Athens will not be rocking. Kiss that baby goodbye. We're going to need a lot of help. Here's what we're going to need. Florida to win this weekend. We're going to need Texas to lose to Texas A&M. We're going to need Alabama to win the SEC championship. Notre Dame may have to go down against Army, which all of that taking place, y'all, it's possible, but not likely. And so just embrace a road playoff game and the neutral site and 4 playoff games to win the national championship. This is what it's going to take. He is Daniel. I am Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. We'll be back tomorrow with locks, and then Friday doing a little special show. We got UMass this week, and so I'm just going to say this: Friday is going to be a special show. Get on back for it. Is all I'm going to say.
See ya.